let's see, I had an email, and I wanted to read that. I got a couple of things. Oh, this guy, he heard me talking about video games on Nateland, and said I played a lot of video games when I was younger, and like everyone, I started with Nintendo, then went to Sega, then Sega 32X, where I only played Doom, then Nintendo 64, and lastly the GameCube. I think that Zelda Ocarina of Time was my favorite. I also really liked Blaster Master for original Nintendo. What are some of your favorites? Well, I was born in 1982, and I got sisters that are 9 and 11 years older than me. So when I first was like awakened to video games, I don't know how old I was, but it was Atari. Atari was what we were playing first. We were playing Pitfall and some kind of ghost game. And Pitfall is mainly what I remember. Pitfall was really great on Atari back then. It was a really good game. And there were a few other things. Frogger, I remember. And we played that. That was great. And then when regular Nintendo came out, whatever year that was that came out, I got one of those. I loved regular Nintendo. I loved all the Mario games. Excite Bike was one of my favorites. I don't remember if Paperboy was Nintendo or Super Nintendo, but I had a game called Elevator Action. That was probably one of my favorite video games, Elevator Action. You were like a criminal, and you would zip line into the top of a building, and then you would try to work your way down, going through doors and different elevators while the cops were after you. That's about all I remember of that game. But then I also, I think Double Dragon was on it. Double Dragon was one of the best. Amazing game. I'm sure there are many that I was forgetting. The thing about me, I always talk about growing up poor, right? But I mainly talked about it in stand-up. But since then, I've said many times on podcast, I grew up in a trailer, but my mom had a pretty good job working at a factory that made VHS tapes. And I don't think our problem was that we didn't have any money. Our problem was we just spent it on fun things rather than buying a house. Like my parents got divorced when I was 2 or 3, and my mom moved into a trailer park really close to where she used to work. And then she never got remarried from that, so she was a single mom, and I think she was making pretty good money. And she, my opinion, she just looked and said, well, I'm making this much money. If I just stay here in this trailer, I have a good bit of money to spend on just enjoying my life. And that's what we did. So I had a lot of video games. My mom would buy me video games. I remember going to some kind of like a Sears or JCPenney or some kind of store like that to buy Mario 2 when it came out. It was so exciting to get that game. And what a weird game it was. And then Mario 3 was unbelievable. You get the raccoon tail. Gosh, that was a great game. And then when Super Nintendo came out, I got Super Nintendo, and there were some other kids in my trailer park, Brandon and Greg Stepp, brothers, they had Sega. So I would go to their house and play Sega. We would play Sonic the Hedgehog, stuff like that, and I had Super Nintendo. I love Mario Kart, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. I mean, Super Nintendo was a real era of video games, and there were so many. I never really got into Zelda. I don't know why. That seems like that would be right up my alley. I loved... there used to be an arcade game where it was basically like Lord of the Rings. You could be, kind of the man, you could be the elf, you could be the dwarf, you could be the woman. you know, though, like I believe those were the choices, and you could play 4 people at the time on the arcade. I love that. So you would think Zelda would be up my alley, but for whatever reason, I think it was too advanced for me and a little confusing, maybe a little slow paced. I just never got into it.